What? How the... What? I... I think you joined in like... It's been like 5 seconds. How? Hello, Insanity. But how? How do you join a stream in the first 5 seconds? Impressive. God. Getting me choked up. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna get everything ready first. Because, obviously that's how the stream starts. So we're 3 minutes early. Can you believe it? Okay, let's see. Announce it on Discord, then that'll be it. There you go. Hey, Douglas, thank you for the $2. Fathers, can I eat a dwarf now? Fathers? Multiple. What fathers? That sounds very ominous. Thank you very much for the $2. No, you cannot eat a dwarf. Dwarf eating is forbidden for now. There's not much left of them, you know? The conservation efforts are very, you know, they're kicking in. Conservation efforts are kicking in. Their numbers are lowering too fast because people keep eating dwarves, like you. Okay. Let me pull up my stream on the phone, and then we can get right to it. I was watching some videos of tasting history. Always, tasting history is very quickly turning into my fucking Bonky! God damn, Bonky! Let me... Welcome to the stream, Bonky. It has been a while. It has been a while. Thank you for the $100. Always appreciated. My God. For a dot, yes, Bonky's crazy like that. He'll spend $100 and then not say anything. God damn. But yeah, always nice to have you here, Bonky. Glad you have bestowed upon us your presence, the silent patron. Not so silent anymore, but still, the name stuck. So anyway, hello everybody, and welcome to the stream. I hope all of you are doing well. Well, I should probably ask, actually. How are you guys doing? Huh? Douglas, thank you for the additional $2. Fathers was a typo, but I've got some critter ideas. Well, yeah, we'll be able to share critter ideas. I should not have used the word critters, because I actually have a hard time saying the word critters. But yeah, we'll be sharing critter ideas in this stream, so perfect. Anyway, I hope all of you are doing good. I am doing very well. I just came back from going to swimming with my dad, and that was very, very enjoyable. I'm assuming he's probably in the stream right now because he was very happy when I said I was going to stream when I got home. He's very supportive, obviously. Hello, Dad, if you're in here. I love you. But yeah, let's get right to it. So, as you can see, what I have on stream or on screen is the little healing bug that I did, or that I sent into the community post like earlier, and we're gonna be continuing work on that. It is a little different from how I was designing the healing bugs before, because before this, the healing bugs had a design more like this. I'll just draw it up real quick because I'm too lazy to find where the drawings are. But yeah, the healing bug was more like an actual beetle, with big old wings, that sort of folded out origami style, and those would be where the magic comes in, right? And then it had like these two antennas that it would use to heal, like this, pretty much. but I don't know. It did not feel right to me. I feel like the design could be more unique than just like a shiny little beetle. So I played around with it a little more and came up with this, which is sort of a silverfish. Huh? Is it true that did a face reveal? Oh yeah, yeah. I just shared it on the Discord. People have already butchered it beautifully into wonderful creations, like turning me into fucking Raiden, or just slapping me onto random images. But yeah, I did do like a I did show my face. I don't want to call it a face reveal because that makes it sound like it's a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's a fucking face. Like who cares? Um, but yeah, the bug. Like earwig wings. I don't know what earwig wings look like, or I don't remember what I used as reference, but they were like very complex looking wings where they folded in interestingly. They folded in like a chicken wing and then sort of like folded out with like interesting lines and patterns on them. You have a face? Yeah, I'm surprised as well, actually. Uh, but I played around with it a little more and came up with this, which I took inspiration from horseshoe crabs and silverfish. Foot or no? No. Sorry, no foot. No foot today. If you're at school, you should not be watching. You should be paying attention in school. Don't do what I did. Uh, what do they do? They're healing bugs. Uh, hold on. Let me finish this, and I'll try to like sort of explain. I should start from the get go so everybody knows what's going on. Okay, we're designing healing bugs, right? These are bugs that have symbiotic relationships with a fair amount of creatures within the world, where they basically are like, I don't want to call them a parasite, but they're on the bodies of creatures and heal them in exchange for eating pieces of dead skin, debris, stuff like that that's on the body of the creature that it's its host, and also occasionally sucking blood. So it has like a little proboscis that it can poke into the skin to suck blood, but it the creature did like evolve to have like a fine balance. Like it's not just a mosquito biting you for its own sustain and then not giving anything in return. It's a very fine balance of like, okay, but I am like taking care of you, cleaning you up, and then also like healing wounds and stuff like that. Do you ever plan on adding a harpy-esque creature? I have not thought about harpy-esque creatures. So like maggots in a therapy scenario? Maggots in a therapy scenario? Hmm. Yeah, I have heard of like maggots being used to eat away dead skin and stuff like that, right? That is a thing that happens. Yeah, pretty much like that, I guess. But they actually use magic to like heal the host creature and like heal wounds and stuff like that. They don't heal it perfectly, so there'll be like an interesting pattern that happens when they heal it as well. So it's like a nice thing where um it adds an interest to certain designs by adding this different layer of like, oh, there's a creature and also it is host to these parasites, but then also it has scars on it that are quite unique because of the creatures healing it over. And it means if you have like a bunch of these, if you're some sort of animal, for example, I'm not calling you animals, but if you were and you had these creatures on you, you would probably be able to survive some wounds that other creatures that didn't have them would die from, right? Just because you have them. They could stop your bleeding quicker, they could patch you up quicker, um, and stuff like that. So, yeah. Can I eat them? You could. But yeah, the reason I changed the design from a more beetle-like shape was because primarily these creatures would be attached to digging creatures, right? They're attached to digging worms and creatures, which I haven't designed yet. We're gonna have to design those as well. But because they're attached to digging creatures, it means that these creatures, the bugs, should be quite like tight to the skin. Like I wanted them to be very flat and flush to the skin. So because if it's digging through earth and like rubbing against dirt and stuff like that, you don't want them to peel off. So I was thinking, what if they have like a really flat profile and like a lip on the side of their bodies that sort of goes right up against here, like this. Like if you look at them from the side, they might be like this flat. That goes right up against the skin, and they also have like maybe some sort of suction, right? They can create a vacuum within that sort of carapace. I was thinking their carapace would be soft. It would not be a hard carapace. It would be more leathery, like a leathery texture, like a skin texture, softer. And it would be able to suction itself to creatures, so it'd be really hard to get them off. But they'd be moving around and like gliding across your skin very smoothly, but it would just be hard to like get your finger under them to like pick them off. Would you be able to feel it if it bit into you? I feel like you could feel like some nipping and ticklish nature. I don't think it's like a very harsh creature. Like the creature I feel like would have evolved over time to specifically be gentle, because obviously if your whole purpose is to stick to a host creature and have them not hate your presence all the time, they would slowly evolve to be more and more gentle and more unnoticeable, right? Like a slug, it looks like a slug. So here's the fun thing. The head sort of looks like, if you've seen, there's a type of worm or like a type of slug or whatever that has like a broad head like that. And the reason the head is like that is because for healing magic, it's better to have like a broad area of effect rather than like focusing the healing into one spot. You'll get cancer. So it's better. Yeah, flatworm, that's what they're called. So the head is like broadened out, and that's where it casts the magic out of. And I was also thinking that it had these tendrils, the same way that some moths have like tendrils that they bring out to release mating pheromones. I think that's why they have it, which looks really creepy, but in this case it looks a little more elegant. These are to collect mana from the air, right? So but here's the fun thing. The worms that they'd be attached to would also be magic creatures. The worms they're attached to would use magic to dig into the earth, which means the creatures that they're attached to, their host creatures, have mana in them as well. So if, for example, the healing worms don't get enough mana from the surrounding environment to heal the host, they will tap the host's blood and take the mana out of the host to heal the host. So it's either or. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the $10, Douglas. Damn. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. My idea for a critter comes from one of my own worlds. Oh, okay. It's a fly that It's a fly that flies in patterns to cast spells, to speed up or reverse decomposition so its larva can hatch in good conditions. Just an idea. Huh. Flies in patterns to cast spells. I mean, that's like the main selling point of that idea, right? But for my world, it wouldn't really fit because, well, making patterns to cast spells doesn't really exist. You just cast the spell through thought, and nothing really physical has to go on. So you'd pretty much... I could make a fly that casts magic, yes, but outside of that, you'd lose the main appeal of it, which is a fly flying around in like weird magical rune patterns and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know how that would fit in. Oh, Ritfinch, hello. Everybody say hello to Ritfinch. They have bestowed us with their presence. Hello, Ritfinch. How are you doing? What? I'm watching at work. Don't tell X. Oh. Well, I won't. I don't know your work. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Right. So they look like a slug from the outside, right? This is sort of a sluggy. It's like a mix because they're not hard carapace either, but they're not like sluggy either. It's sort of like a skin. But on the underside, I wanted them to be like a horseshoe crab. That's where the horseshoe crab reference comes in, where if you flip them over, they have like all the creepy, crawly legs and stuff going on underneath, which will be very fun to draw and design. So let me like draw the underside for you as an example. So like this, and then like I want to capture the leg structure of a horseshoe crab, or the how satisfying it is that the legs are like so close together, and like sort of a rib cage pattern to them, right? Like this. I'm guessing that this thing would have a lot of small legs, again, just to be like a very smooth creature, like it doesn't irritate the host at all or anything. So it would just be like a bunch of little legs like this or something. No, and I was thinking that it would have like these sort of sweeping jaws, um, like this under its head, or the underside of its mouth, so that basically it can pick up anything in the circumference of its head. So if there's like dead skin coming by, its arm will like reach out like this and sort of like pick it off and then put it in its mouth. You know, just nibbling away. Does it de-suck itself from the body for the animal to move to the wound, or does it kind of slide slowly across? I mean, if you've noticed, when it comes to like suction and things, do you notice that it's hard to pull it off, but occasion like it's easy to like slide things across a suction, like if you have a suction cup on a piece of glass, it's easy to like slide it from side to side. So I feel like it'd be like this very weird effect where it can still move quite nimbly across a creature's skin. Like it would look quite unnatural because it's like perfectly suction on, no like seam underneath, but it like glides across your skin very strangely. Yeah. Uh Beetle legs are spiky but surprisingly not harmful. If it helps, they stick to surface. So maybe like that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, classic little hooks at the end would probably make sense for the legs. But so the first thing that I was going to do was I'm gonna draw like a very simple scene of just like an arm with like a little bit of atmosphere around it with one of these or like a few of these bugs on it, just for the sake of being able to look at the colors of it. Because looking at it in isolation like this makes me feel that the colors are too bright for the world. So it'd be better to like try and stuff it into an environment and see how that looks. Are the healing bugs rare? I feel like they were rare before people got a hold of them. So they would be like, normally they would just stick to their hosts, and they would be spread through the colony of their host, and they would sort of just stick with them, not spread further than that. But after people discovered them, they probably like cultivated them and bred them en masse. So there's probably like a bunch more of them now that people have gotten hold of them, and that people use them for healing purposes. Obviously, it's not a perfect healer, right? I wanna preface that it is not perfect at healing. It makes mistakes because it's not like it knows your anatomy. It heals instinctually. It does its thing around a wound, which means sometimes it heals wrong, sometimes it leaves quite big scars, but it's better than having a gaping open wound, at least, you know? So if you have a healer, like an actual person that's a healer on hand, that is very much preferred over the healing bugs. Important. Do they poop? Or is the healing juice their poop? No, their healing juice would not their poop. Healing is just magic. They don't. But yeah, they should probably poop. I'm guessing that if they do poop, they should most likely lift their ass or their abdomen off of the host so they don't shit on the host. Because if they're, if they're focused on cleanliness and healing wounds, I don't think shitting while doing that would be the best idea. Would humans pull them off if a healer is nearby? I think so. I think so. You'd probably not want them around. They just interfere and be like annoying around the area that you're trying to get healed. Though there's where the problem comes in with them is like, how do you get them off? It's very tedious to get them off. You'd probably like. Sadly, I feel like to get them off, the most quick way to do it would just be to stab them, like kill them, because like trying to pry your finger under them wouldn't be easy. So you'd really just have to just sort of poke them from the top, or maybe like pinch them somehow. I don't know. That'll be something for people in the world to figure out. Where's the head? Well, I was sort of thinking that this is the head. The head is sort of like here, and maybe from the underside you'll see that there's like small little eyes here on the side. But because the worms are, or these creatures are mostly with digging creatures, I doubt they would have much vision, or they would need much vision. So I don't think they would have like very good eyesight if they even have eyes. I'm still on the fence about it. But yeah, I don't know if they make any noise, by the way. Whoever asked that, I don't know. Well, all bugs should probably make some noise, but I don't know what kind of noise these would make. Anyway, let's get to drawing. I'm just gonna draw like a really quick scene of like a hand or like an arm, like this. And we'll have it be, let's say have it be like tied off with like a bit of a tourniquet. Maybe they've gotten quite a bit of a bad cut on the side of their arm here. I'm not gonna make it too brutal, but it's definitely gonna be a bit of a gash. Okay, like this, and then have their uniform like torn off and stuff. And I was thinking maybe to have them be resting on a crate or something. Just to set a bit of a scene. Oh, to show, I don't think it would be, if they're healing you, I don't think it'll be the most pleasant thing. So maybe it would hurt like a little bit. So let him have, or let's make it so he's like holding on to the box a little bit, he's clenching his fist a bit, being like, oh, fuck! It's not the most pleasant thing. But yeah, also I don't think anybody in the war is gonna be this buff, so let me... It helps, but it hurts. Yes. So I have cookies, by the way, so if you hear me eating anything, it's cookies. Does he interact with chat? Yes. Yes, I do. It's just that I really wanted to get, my general ideas that I had in my head and the explanation of what I'm trying to do out first. And then I sort of start looking at the chat more, because otherwise it'll take way longer to get things done. Do muscles help cast stronger spells? No. No, they don't. Though, being muscular is beneficial, just for the sake of having a better mind-muscle connection, which would help you a little bit get more efficient at taking in mana, just because you have more control over your body. Also, just having muscles would mean you hold more mana, because you have more blood in your body in general because you're larger. So it would benefit your magic. Being fit does benefit magic. Yeah. Being obese also does in that case because you just have more body to hold the magic. So technically, if you want to be like absolutely obese, just a giant rotund man, then yes, you would be really good at retaining a lot of mana, but not much besides that. Muscle wizards are still on the table. They were always on the table. I've already talked about physical mages being a thing. Physical mages are mages that don't cast spells out of their body. They literally use magic to enhance their physical abilities. So there are literally just buff as fuck mages that just use magic to make themselves even stronger. Maybe some tumors for magic storage. We'll get to that eventually. I have some ideas about that. I mean, I have some things set in stone about that I still want to talk about. We still haven't like even breached the surface of what's possible with like magic and how people use it and stuff. So there is a roid magic. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. There is roid magic. Tardigrades molt instead of excreting normally? They do? I didn't know that. That could be an interesting visuals of these guys leaving their shell. Yeah, the shells could also just be a pretty thing to keep or catch or use for like clothing and stuff, maybe. Depending on what the pattern of them are, I guess. But yeah, I'm just gonna draw him like clutching the tourniquet. Is this a Varus or Ram soldier? Let's say it's a Varus soldier. So I'm gonna give him like the puffy arm sleeves. Hello, Jelly. I have thought about needle bugs that like accelerate to punch through things. But they would be like really fucking dangerous. Just picture the idea of like a swarm of them. They could literally just zip through you, and you'd have like these tiny pinprick holes that go all the way through you. Because with magic, I doubt it would just be like, oh, they use magic to stab into you. No, they would use magic to go right through you. I don't think just enough. They'd have enough magic to do that probably if they're small enough and efficient enough with like how they use the magic. I bet they could just go right through you. But yeah, here you go. Oh, this is why it looks weird. I didn't use black line work. Oops. Okay. So yeah, something really rough, and then we're gonna put. I feel like the issue is this image is gonna be a little too small to show like the design of the thing. Why is there a black border? The hell? Yeah, let's make this bigger. There you go, bigger. Okay, and then we put... So here's the gash. Why can't I draw? There you go. Here's the gash. So let's say the bugs are healing from this side to this. So we'll have like some of the pattern that they heal in over here. And then one of them is right here. Thinking about how big they are, I'm sort of thinking they would just be like this big. Because if I made them too small, they would be such a small element on creatures. If you wanted to like have them be like an add-on to a design, then having them be too small would just be a, you know, what's the point? We'll barely see them. So I'd say like that size is okay, you think? Why is everybody spamming dirt? Hmm? Nice to catch some of your streams. I can tell that some of the budding artists on your server have been absorbing some of your techniques, like with the uses of reference and sketches on the canvas. Oh, that's nice then. I haven't really noticed that yet. That's, well, I was gonna say that's great to hear, but there are so many better sources. There are so many better sources you could use. Yeah, you wouldn't see their legs either when they're on you, because their shell sort of like covers a larger area than their legs. Yeah. We have thought about like them using the host to also like host their larva under their skin or something like that. We have thought about that as well, but I feel like it's a little too brutal. Or it's too bad of a trade for the host creature. Like, I don't know how you would do that gently. So what I was thinking instead was like that the bugs themselves sort of keep their eggs on them, like under their carapace, like here next to their abdomen or thorax or whatever the hell it's called, maybe. And then as they hatch, they sort of just like crawl out of under the mom's skin, and then you just see these tiny like pale white, like rice grain looking things just sort of crawl out from the mom. I use Krita. If you ate them, would they heal you at all? No. You just be full. How would they find a mate? They're all on the same host, so I don't doubt that there'll be, you know, enough of a diversity on one host that they can mate. But yeah. There you go. Now let me... This is very rough. But it's good enough just to get the idea for the color scheme. So let's throw in some very quick colors. to get a sense of the surrounding world. And then we can start throwing random colors onto the bug and see what fits. Okay, first let's throw around the random colors I normally do to the sense of the scene. Okay, dirty up the scene. He probably got some dirt on him as well. I don't think the war is the cleanest thing. And then let's see what sort of color for the wound. Nice dark red to stand out from the rest. There you go. Big old gash. Is mana poisonous when digested? No. You can take in mana through digestion as well. If you eat something that has mana in it, it'll get into you either way. It's just going to take longer, because obviously you have to digest it. What I was thinking about the idea of their colors being like bright was because of them intentionally like wanting to stand out for the sake of having animals be able to tell that they're healing bugs. You know, same way as like those cleaning fish that you sometimes see in like deep sea or like ocean documentaries, where like some random predator just has his mouth open and these like cleaning fish or the cleaning shrimp like come along and just clean them up. And they normally have like pretty bright colors. I don't know if it's to stand out, but to me that's what I thought. So what are you eating? Cookies. Eating cookies. Bought some from 7-Eleven. There you go. Got a nice little gash going, I think. Yeah, I think that is pretty much good enough to give us like a sense of the color scheme that's around where this would be happening. I'll just do it a little more. Yeah. Whoops. Maybe they eat dead tissue? Yeah, that's I talked about that already. Are magical consumables used by common soldiers? Yes. Mostly on Rom's side. Rom doesn't have as many mages to them as Varus does. Varus is like a big capital of like magic and stuff like that. So they have like a fuck ton of mages and the resources to, you know, train more very quickly. So they normally just use mages in war. Like they just send mages into the war and, you know, train them as battle mages. Rom, on the other hand, they don't really have that. So instead they make it they focus on teaching mages scroll making and writing ifs so that they can make a bunch of scrolls and give those to the common soldier so they can use those in battle instead to not risk the lives of their mages. Varus, on the other hand, just doesn't give a shit. They're like, fuck it, we're sending in mages. Yeah, I'd say it's not dark enough. Okay, there you go. Now I will just crop the part that's the bug. And then we can play around with some colors, see what works, see what sticks. Like that. And then I think I'm gonna have the shading be on a separate layer so that I don't have to shade it every time that I try a new color scheme. I'm just gonna add like a very simple bit of shading, probably over the skin as well. It wouldn't really cast a shadow that much because it's very flat, so just on it. Yes, there you go. Let me multiply that. There. Now let's try some different colors and see what happens. So first of all, I think best thing to do is try the color scheme that I have over here, which is like the really bright one, and see if that works even remotely. Yeah, I'm not gonna have to match it 100% because that's not the point. Also, there would just be like, I'm guessing there would be like a very diverse, like lots of different patterns of these things. It won't be like one universal pattern that never changes. Huh. I'd say that ain't that bad, actually. Like just from this, I barely drew the pattern yet, but still, I feel like just those colors don't really, they don't stand out too much. You know, if we really need to, we can mute them. Like, look, let's just a tiny bit like this, maybe, and already that like it. Obviously, I want it to stand out to a certain degree because otherwise it'll just blend into everything else. But yeah, I can see that working actually. What do you think? What do you guys think? You, like, there's, you are collective, just one. How do the healing bugs work, though? Magic. There's literally magic in the world. Does your world have chickens? Yeah, I would think it has chickens. Well, yeah, of course I'm gonna try other colors. I'm not done yet. But just saying the color that I had here without context, looked a little too bright, but now if I put it in the image, it actually is quite reasonable, I'd say. Yeah, I'm gonna duplicate the layer. And so we'll keep one of these, and then we'll try some other colors. Let's try the colors over here first, I guess, before we do them over there. So gotta duplicate this. Select opaque. Oops. And then we can try and play around with some other patterns. Okay, color suggestions. What are we thinking? Do we want to go blue, like completely opposite from... Somebody said cyan. I wish I knew what cyan was. I think this is my best guess. Is this cyan? Is that cyan? Let's go blue. Okay, awesome. Let's see. So blue, I still like these sort of like circular patterns and stuff. So that is going to stay. But I'm gonna do like that kind of white. Not sure if we still want to go white and blue. We'll have to see. Maybe we want the butt part to be white. Like this, maybe. And sort of mostly be... that. That. And then like some random dots with black and what's a color that goes with blue? Black and yeah, I don't know what is a color that goes with blue. Uh, Yellow. Blue and yellow. Is that even a? What if we have yeah, a little smiley face? That'd be cute. Yellow? Okay, yellow. Cool. Let's go yellow then. Or yellow enough. I don't want to do a bright yellow because then it's too annoying looking. So we gotta have it sort of a little bit subdued, same as the rest of the tones. This, and then let's go in with another black. It's weird. I like it though. It's weird, but I like it. Like sometimes that just happens in nature, you know? Like random bugs will just look like they have faces on the back or something. So, and also it doesn't have to be this pattern. It just looks like a weird fish. Perfect. Okay, there you go. Weird fish looking one. So we got this one, this one. Let's try the colors on the body and see how that looks. Where the hell is the body? There it is. Blue with white. Like that. I feel like what we're gonna realize from this, just from doing it really quickly, is pretty much any color combination is gonna work. If because it just depends on like the scene's lighting and actually blending in the colors properly. If you do that, then you can pretty much get away with coloring them any way you want. So I doubt we're gonna run into any issues or any color tones that'll be like horribly unpleasing to look at. But yeah, like look, I think that works as well. Maybe a little less than the red actually. Yeah, but that might just be because there's less red on there. I don't know. Again, if we like just lower the opacity a little bit, just like that much, already starts blending in more. So don't see an issue with that. Could have multiple breeds of them. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So, I mean, you can just come up with like unique fun little colors per scene. So you could just do it like this. If you're drawing a scene and there happens to be the healing bugs in it, just color the healing bugs however you want for that particular scene to make it, complement the scene. Just have it fit nicely. Yeah. Okay, let's try different color. Duplicate. Green, right? Somebody said green. Let's do green. But I want green with something else that isn't white. We're not gonna do a Joker one, that's for sure, so I don't think I'm gonna do, like, green and purple. That's just gonna be, yeah. I don't like the green and purple combo. It's too easy. Green and red. Okay. Try green and red. Okay, let me think. Where is the red gonna be? I feel like at the head is always like a nice way to go about it. Just have the head be really bright red, and then the red of the rest of the body be like a different color. It always is like very striking. Then we can go with a yellow for the rest of the body. Maybe. Looks like some sort of like a chameleon or something. I think it's always gonna be a must to have a black tone in it somewhere, just to like help tie it together, to give it that punch, I'd say, with like the black dots and stuff. That's always gonna be necessary, I think. Like, see, just adding the black dots is always like, just starts looking good. Maybe even a white now as well. It's like add all the colors. Look, and go crazy with it. Do we want to do that thing again? We did this the first time I designed the healing bugs. I just send a blank of this design into the Discord, and then you guys can also like try out colors if you want. Do you want that? I'll just make like a blank of this. I'll clean it up a little bit, make it like a nice big image, and I'll just throw that into the Discord with a transparency on the body, and then you guys can just throw colors on it and see what works. I'll give you this one, which is like the flat on, and then also the one with the arm. I'll remove the parts that have the bug on it, so you can also like try to put it in the scene. Awesome. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Because I feel like there's so many options and choices. It'll be, what's the Discord? Oh, let me send you the Discord link. Just a second. Expires after 7 days. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Okay, here you go. I'm sending the link in the chat. So anybody who wants to join the Discord, do that. And then I will tell you when I send it in the Discord. Did it send? Ah, yeah, there you go. Yeah, sea slugs would be a really good color scheme for it as well. Okay, let's see. No, no, what am I doing? Oh, what am I doing? Okay, so let me make this image bigger. I don't think their design is going to change much, because I already like their shape quite a lot. You know? Like, that's a nice shape, I'd say. I don't... I'll clean it up a little bit. And also, like, include the tendrils as a part of the mask. just so you can color those as well. I don't think the underside is gonna... No, actually, let me do the underside too. So give me a bit while I do this, and then you guys can go nuts with the color. So... Okay. Cool. Then I do a color mask. This. Why is it off center? Oh. First time catching you live? Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. Yeah, we're currently working on healing bugs. And I'm about to... So after I'm done with this, I'm going to send it into the Discord. I'm cropping the image right now, and then I'm going to draw the underside of it. Or I'm going to draw the underside of it, and then I'll send it into the Discord with like a transparent mask so that anybody can just color it however they like. So we can like very quickly get lots of different ideas out, see what sticks. Uh, I don't think I'm gonna be able to illustrate it perfectly, but the whole idea behind the tail thing here and why it collects mana is because it's supposed to look like a fractal tree. But obviously, I can't really do a fractal tree that well, so it's just gonna fizzle out into absolute gibberish at the end. But it's close enough. Yeah, it's close enough. And that's supposed to be like some sort of like fleshy parts or like fleshy tube parts, so I don't know what color that would be. Okay, there you go. Then I'm gonna... Hold on. There. Also, if I do this, C Control V, then select opaque, put it behind that. There you go. Just give it a bit of an outline so it has a bit more substance. Okay, then we take this, and we draw the underside. Just copied it over so I don't have to draw the silhouette again. Why can't I draw? Why can't I draw? What? It's right there. Why can't I do anything to it? Ah, thank you. So I was thinking it would have little grippers underneath, like this, mandibles. Like that. I don't know how it would suck your blood. Maybe it has like a separate uh, feeding system, or maybe it just like cuts a little tiny slit and sucks your blood out of that. I was thinking there would be probably like a fair amount of hairs here because they'd also be used to groom itself a little bit. And then its eyes would be somewhere here, but probably very residual eyes. Okay, and I was also thinking the underside of the head part would be sort of grown in layers, the same way as like a tree rings. So you sort of see like these lines grow out from the middle. Okay, now for the legs, which is the fun part. Okay, let's see. So first we do the nubby bits. Don't care how many legs it has. It's gonna have a bunch. There. Okay. Also the underside of this as well. Is it gonna be like that? Or like that? Yeah, it'll be like that. I should have them have some sort of rhythm. Like they get bigger in the middle. Mr. Tech Spy, thank you for the 20 kroner. Did you find a solution for the coin problem? Well, it wasn't really a problem with the coins. There was just some interesting questions and technical things to think about with the coins. The system wasn't perfect, and it can be improved. The issues that so the counterfeiting, and the coin clipping one. So maybe we will have an edge to the coin, which would sadly like destroy its, like its nice flared edge, or the ugly flared edge, I guess, which gave the coin some nice character. We might need to remove that to give it a ridged edge, so you can't clip the sides of the coins without, making it clear that the coin has been clipped. And also, somebody suggested not using valuable metals, but still separating out because we're using bronze to make the coins, right? Which means you could technically have one of the coins be zinc, have another coin be copper, and then have another coin be bronze. So all three of the coins are still separate metals. It just makes them a lot more tedious to use them to be melted down into the same into more coins. And another way we could make that even harder would be if you mixed the metals within the coins. So if they had like a different core and then an outer coating that was a different metal, so maybe a zinc core and then a copper outer thing and stuff. So you basically couldn't even melt them down by themselves either. You'd have to separate them out if that was even possible. So you'd have to separate the middle of the coin from the outer side and then melt it down, which is just it would be not worth. It would be so much more work to uh, melt them down and turn them into higher denominations of the same currency. So those would be like some really good countermeasures. Um, it's more high fantasy. I just talk about evolution because, well, that's normally how creatures get created. But like the people in the world would obviously not know of the idea of evolution, so they would just think that creatures are the way they are. But yeah, what was I gonna say about the coins? Um, but yeah, I don't want it to be impossible to counterfeit because the fun thing is counterfeiting being possible is fun for the world, right? It would be boring if it's a perfect system because then there's no exploitation of said system. So it's important that I make it hard to counterfeit things so it's not just easily being like, why the fuck is anybody even using the system? But not too hard to the point where it's like nobody's trying to counterfeit these coins. There are still people trying to counterfeit these coins. And obviously it's an arms race sort of between the banks and the people trying to counterfeit them to prevent counterfeiting and the people counterfeiting them trying to figure out how to counterfeit them. And obviously, it's not just the coins themselves that are, the only thing holding people back from counterfeiting. No, obviously, counterfeiting is illegal and it should be illegal. So the government would probably look into people counterfeiting and try to, take them to jail or probably just kill them. Um, I don't know how terrible the punishment for counterfeiting would be in my world. Knowing how fragile the wartime economy is at the moment, counterfeiting is probably quite a serious act. So death sentence seems quite likely. Um, is it possible IRL for something to be impossible to counterfeit? No, but just trying to figure out like a really airtight perfect system isn't really fun. Like leaving some holes in it for other characters or other sides of the world to exploit is, I think, more fun always. I love exploitation. Dismemberment punishment. Yeah, dismemberment punishment is very fun. Audit somebody cutting off fingers for counterfeiting. True. I mean, I was sort of thinking about cutting off fingers for thieves as well, because it makes sense to cut off their means of thieving. Uh, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's like punishment for multiple different illegal things. A very brutal thing that I was thinking about with like people in the server. It was the idea that if you were caught and your punishment was to like lose your fingers, instead of them just cutting off your fingers, what they did was they refashioned the same dies that they used to stamp the coins, the finger coins, which have the pattern of the coins on them, right? And they use those to make finger traps, or like those those torture devices where you twist the thing and it crushes your fingers between metal plates. So instead of just bare metal plates, it's the patterns of the coins of the country. So your fingers basically get squished into the shape of the ROM coins, which might be very brutal, but I like it. I like it. It makes it even more, you know, around in a sort of fulfilling prophecy kind of thing. Like, you take from the country, you counterfeit our coins. Sure, let me turn your fingers into fucking coins. Burger. Yes, it would be like little burgers. How big are the bugs? Here's an image of like somebody with the bugs on their arm. I'll clear it up a little more, but they're not that big, but they're just big enough to like actually matter in a scene if you put them in. If I made them any smaller, they would just sort of disappear into a scene. So, uh, Mr. TechSpy, thank you for the additional 20 kroner. Appreciate it. Buy metallic coins where you see the different materials. True. You could make it so there's like an outer ring of a different type of material and then an inner ring. Maybe have the nail of the coin, like the fingernail part of it, be a different metal, though that would be pretty easy to remove, so I don't know how much that would help. Somebody was, also a few people were recommending having the coins be out of a different metal and then be plated with a different metal on the outside, but the thing is, I don't know if the world could figure out how the fuck to plate things, you know? Because they're like in a weird time period. I'm gonna search up how far back plating metals went, like when we invented that. Electroplating was invented in 18 or yeah, uh I don't know how to say that era actually. 1805. There you go, 1805. I mean, yeah, that's the problem. Electroplating. It uses electricity, which they don't have yet. So I don't really I don't really know how they would manage that unless you use like some sort of magical means of doing it, which eh, then you give them credit for. No, no, I give them a lot of credit. I don't underestimate how far along we were back in the day. Like, we were very, very advanced with things, but it's just that some very specific things, we really didn't have access to. Like, yes, you could. There's a lot of things we could do, but electroplating might not be one of those, especially if you don't have access to electricity. You know? Flipping for game of chance. Call it heads or tails. Also, thank you for the $2. Flipping for game of chance. Call it heads or tails. I don't understand what you mean. Like, you're just telling me that a game of chance is heads or tails? Because, like, that. Or I don't know. I don't know the context of that. Did I miss anything? Or why are you telling me flipping for game of chance? Call it heads or tails. Oh, heads or nails. Fuck. God damn it. I'm stupid. Whoosh. Whoosh indeed. Uh, no, because I see heads or it just, I just auto corrected. Nails. God damn it. Yeah, of course that's fucking genius. Heads or nails. Right, because that's even more perfect, because the nail side is on the other side, and the other side is heads, like it's the head of the saint and like the head of the speaker. God, heads or nails. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. I'm writing that down. Thank you very much. Heads or nails. It's okay, buddy. We love you. Thank you. Appreciate it. A form of manual plating did exist in medievalish times. It was just hard and not commonly worth it, and from what I can tell, it was only used with soft metals over hard metals. Yeah, like you could I can think about like the idea of like just having very flat metal plates and then just mashing it onto a coin. Like you could definitely do it manually. It would not be, as thin and perfect as electroplating, but you could definitely make like an outer shell of a coin out of a different metal. But it would just be very labor intensive. Unless you could, but it would make them so easily removable. That's the thing. So if we made a mold, okay, here's the two ways I think of like shelling a different metal in another metal. It's either you make a mold with a smaller hold on, I should probably draw this. Hold on. There's so many things I need to do. Right. Let me write down heads or nails first. Okay. Heads or nails. Okay. Now let's go to this thing. Also, I can't do that yet because I gotta thank the person who thingy. Thank you, Crossover, for the 400 Huff. That's the first time I've seen Huff. I have no idea what that is, but I already love the currency. Huff, Huff. Great. That's just wonderful. Thank you for 400 of it. Appreciate it. Coins can have unique fingerprints to ID track. I mean, yes, but how? How would you put an ID on or a fingerprint on a coin that's unique per coin? Unless it's like a specific pattern on just the legit coins. But then if you were copying the mold, like if you were copying a coin by making a mold of a coin, then you would just get that fingerprint anyway. You just have to work a little hard to make it, perfect, because the detail is probably like really fine. But besides that, you'd still be able to. Why is there just a long line that doesn't have anything to? Okay. But yeah, the two ways that I was thinking of being able to make a coin with multiple metals is we can have it so we have a mold of the coin, right? Or I'll just draw it like this. So here's a mold of the coin. Two sides, right? With the pattern here. And then you just have a blank in the middle that you molded ahead of time, made out of a different metal, and put it like suspended in the middle somehow with like probably some edge bits that like stick into the mold somewhere. And then just pour a different metal in, and then it surrounds this blank and covers it in that other metal, which would connect them quite well. Problem is, I don't know how thin you can make that outer layer. If we, for example, wanted to go for as thin as possible, how thin you can make this outer layer before the metal stops flowing in those cracks. Like, how big can you make the blank in the middle before metal stops fully flowing around it? The other way you could is by making big old sheets of the metal you want to cover the coins in, then have the blank of the coin, and then when you're stamping them, Like if you have the dies, right? This is the top die and the bottom die that has the pattern of the coin on it. You basically put two metal sheets on either side, like an Oreo first, then put the metal coin in the middle, and then stamp all three of them together to make like an Oreo. But then the issue would be, I feel like that would easily peel off, like just fall apart. Unless you make the metals hot first, I guess. Like quite hot, and then stamp them together. That might be able to work. You could definitely get it thinner. You would definitely be able to get it thinner than this method. But again, structural integrity-wise, I don't know how easy it would be to peel those off. The Baghdad batteries? What? Could you tell that there's a different metal inside? Maybe just different metal on the edge so you can tell by looking? Well, no, you wouldn't be able to tell without cutting it open, but it would be for the sake of like making counterfeiting harder by making it have like a specific weight and also like material makeup, which means you wouldn't be easily able to like melt them down. Like the whole purpose is to, if you're melting down the coin, then those metals would mix and then basically fuck up the batch, so you can't like easily just throw coins into a furnace to melt them down and use the materials to make more coins, because they all have like mixes of different metals in them. You know, also, God, fucking the donations are rolling in like crazy. Jesus Christ. Peter, thank you very much for the €5. Use an inner core of the coin, including the tail out of one metal and a different material as an outer layer of the coin. 2 stamps. Huh, what? Use an inner core of the coin, including the tail out. Including the tail out of one material and a different material as an outer layer of the coin. 2 stampings. Oh, the tail, like the side of the coin. Fuck, I was like, what? My coins don't have tails. They're fucking fingers. They're not rat coins, they're finger coins. Right, you mean tail. So like 2 separate outer layer metals. Coins include the nail. Oh my god, my brain is fucking... Yeah, sorry. I'm having a hard time reading, I don't know why. Right, nail. Why is it auto-correcting that shit? I don't know. Nail. Out of one material and then different material on the other. Right, that makes sense. Okay, so the inner layer is exposed on the coin. Sorry. The inner layer of the coin is exposed on the nail, and then everything else is coated in a second layer, so you can still see the inner layer through the nail part. Yeah, Jesus. Also, thank you for the 20 kroner, Mr. Texby. Appreciate it. You can plate by dunking it into some molten metal. I mean, yeah, but that would be really ugly, wouldn't it? I guess you could. Would that work? I don't know. You could dunk it into molten metal and then put it in the die, I guess, and then cut off the edge, but I don't know how messy that would be, if that would be like a reliable way of doing it. I feel like I really need to like do it myself to know if that's a viable way of doing it, but obviously I don't have the means to do that. What about taking a finished coin and just dipping it into some molten metal that has a lower melting point as the coin material, and that would coat it? Well, yeah, but I would feel like if you do dunk it into a metal, you'd have to stamp it after that, because if you have a finished coin and dunk it, it's gonna make all the patterns are just gonna disappear pretty much. You know, you'd want to stamp it after dunking. It'd be lumpy, yeah. As well, also it would be lumpy, which just I don't know. I do want the coins to be like at least little pretty. But yeah, sorry, I'm taking a lot of time talking about something that isn't relevant to the stream. Yeah, let me get this finished, and then I can send it into the Discord, and then shit can happen. Whatever. I want to clean up the line here a little more. mean, I think that's good enough. It's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna select opaque on these, and then I go to the layer below them and erase, and then the background layer of my canvas, and oh, right. Wait, done, done, there, that. Okay. Erase. There you go. Now that's a transparent part, so it's very easy to just color that in. And then we take, I can just use this whole thing. That, just move it over. Doesn't gotta be perfect, I don't think. It's close enough. Okay, and then we Control E. Okay, and then select opaque, erase it from that, then erase it from that. Now we should, yeah. There you go. Now we have a transparent mask on the bugs and the arm. Do you want this whole canvas? I can't be bothered making it any neater, like moving those together. And also if I separate it, it's gonna be tedious for you to download 2 separate images and then slap it onto a canvas. I'll just do this, and if you want to cut it up, you can cut it up. So let me send you this into the Discord, and then you can do with it whatever you like. If you want the Discord link again, by the way, do tell me, and I'll send it into the chat. But yeah, let's see. Next thing. Save. PNG. Okay, I will put it into the Monster Garden chat. If you hop into the Discord, there is a chat called Monster Garden. It's going to be in there, okay? So preferably don't spam any messages too much so people can find it more easily. Otherwise, if that happens, I'll just pin it. But yeah, there you go. Enjoy. Yes, please? Okay, yeah. Let me send in the Discord link again, just in case anybody missed it. Whoops, sorry. Oh, right, I have Discord audio, desktop audio off. Because I was watching a Dark Magic Crafts video as well. I love that channel. Or, not Dark Magic Crafts, Black Magic Crafts. What? Oh, right, I lost the link. Hold on, let me get the link again. Copy. There. That's the Discord. If you hop in there, there's a chat called Monster Garden. It's in there. And if you do, if anybody does make their own version of colors for the bugs, just, if you're done, just post it into the Monster Garden chat. I'll just pin the message just in case. Just post it into the Monster Garden chat and like at me or something, and then I'll see it, and we'll see what we can come up with. How long do we have? I mean, there's no deadline. It's not like a competition or anything. I just want to see what people can come up with, and then I can, you know, if multiple people draw them, they'll probably come up with better shit than I can on my own. So yeah, no deadline. I mean, I guess the deadline is until I eventually make a video about the bug. So whenever that happens, that's your deadline, I guess. There's no race. Just take your time. Nothing, no need to rush. What about the eggs under the skin idea? I already said no about it. Because we thought about that at the start, and I just felt like it was too bad for the host. So the idea for now is that it keeps its eggs next to its body, and then when they eventually hatch, they just sort of like crawl under or crawl away from under the mother and just sort of like move around like little baby cockroaches. If you've seen baby cockroaches, you know what I talk about. You know what I'm talking about. I'm having trouble talking. I'm sorry, guys. It's just I'm a little tired. You know, I went swimming, and I swam quite a bit, and now I'm a little drowsy and blah, all that. Crazy Man Saga, Crazy Man Saga. There you go. Thank you for the $20. Appreciate it. Would you like an actual metal version of the coin? Actual metal version of this coin? Sadly, the design of the coin is just impossible to dunk or mint, as the bottom and top of the finger would have little to no detail because of center mass of the punch. I guess it would be. I don't know. I was thinking about the possibility to actually make those coins legitimately a little bit, but not too much, you know? I wasn't stressing about it too much, because otherwise that's just not fun. So I just researched like old methods of making coins with the stamping method, like just hitting a die onto a piece of metal. And I thought, oh yeah, that's cool. I wasn't thinking if it's like, oh, does the shape of the coin, like if the shape of the coin of being a finger, if it would affect that too much. Because in that case, I guess you could just have 3 separate dies, or maybe 2 separate dies to hit it on the top and bottom, so it gets the edges too. Or maybe if it's just one big enough die and a big enough hammer, you can get it all in one. I don't know. Could they be cast? Draft angle should be fine for it. What, draft angles? What are draft angles? Question from a new world builder. I just made all my important maps, civilization, cities. What is next? What? You retire. Or, I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. I don't know. You dance. You dance in celebration and click your heels together. Yippee! And then you move on. I don't know. You've drawn all your maps, important maps, civilization, cities. Fuck, like what's what's left? You're just done? I don't know. You write a story, maybe? Just write a story about it, maybe. In the world? Oh. Make an even newer world. Yeah. Just start again. Vicious cycle. Just scrap it and then do it again. But yeah. I mean, normally I don't think about it, world building like that. So I don't know if you were like thinking about lore in tandem with the world, or if you literally just made like a husk of a world, like not to call it a husk, but like just really purely the foundations, like capital cities, what do they make, what do they produce, uh and locations, maps, and stuff like that, and like basically cutting out any lore or characters, and you haven't added those in yet, or if it's like packed full of that shit already. Wildlife. Yeah, wildlife is fun. You could do that, I guess. Use your world as a D&D setting. Oh yeah, that'll definitely be a good idea. Use your world as a D&D setting, and every session you have to explain like 2 hours of lore before starting. Obviously, that's not what's gonna happen, but it would just be funny if the world is like so precise and already set in stone that it's like, no, you can't do that in this capital. They will arrest you, and the baron of the city has. Yes, I have just a husk. That's why I'm asking. Oh, right. Yeah, I don't know then, because like I don't think about world building in that way. I don't like build it like that and then up. I sort of just go from every angle, random, just poking at it. Like, oh, character here, landmark there. Oh, what about this cool little bug? Oh, magic system. Just like random shit. Not even like I don't even know the name of the. I don't know the name of the capital city of Ram or Varus. I've just been calling them the capital of Ram or the capital of Varus. They don't even got names yet. That's how fucking spotted this world is. It got so many fucking holes in it. Like, if you got my world as a slice of cheese with that many holes in it, you'd feel like you got scammed. Like, just, there's barely fucking anything there. Mostly holes. Capital of ramen, yeah. This unfortunately kinda conflicts with the electing bullshit. How writing is though? What? Eclectic bull. I'm fucking. Am I dyslexic? I'm starting to question myself here. I don't have that much trouble reading, right? I'm just messing up. This is normal, right? Just a question. This is a normal amount of messing up when it comes to reading, right? It's not just me. I am not dyslexic. I could read perfectly fine. Just not under pressure, If nobody's looking, nobody's listening, and nobody's around me or in my vicinity, and I have a book, I'll probably read it fine. But as soon as I have to read something out loud to people, it goes to shit. Sleep deprivation. No, it's not sleep deprivation. I'm not like sleep deprived. Just a little tired. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired, boss. But yeah, I mean, what do we do next? Because it's sort of a fruitless effort to try and just draw patterns of this bug over and over again, because it seems like we've realized that all patterns work. Like, you could just make this whatever pattern. If you skew the opacity and the hue of it to fit with the scene, you can pretty much get away with everything. So it doesn't really matter. We can just have like a fun bunch of different bugs or different colors of this bug, and that's about it. I guess because the title of the stream is other critters within the trenches as well, let's talk about some other critters within the trenches. Another type of bug, or actually, I don't even know if it would be a bug or not, but we sort of have some ideas. Shabby and Sedeka, again, most of my ideas come from them now, because they're idea machines for some reason. They just produce ideas nonstop. I can't keep up with them. They pretty much came up with like this leech thing that is like a tooth fairy. It's so basically, if the visual that they gave me, which was an awesome fucking visual, I don't think I'll be able to find the animation quickly, but I can draw it up real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. They drew me this like image of like a corpse in the trenches, like this, like just laying there on the side of a wall or something. Uh, and then these sort of worms came up from the ground, emerged like those basically like bobbit worms, you know, or like those fish that are really long and you see in aquariums and people point at it and see, haha, funny fish, funny long fish, those things. And they reached up and sort of like nipped at little bits off of the corpse and then like retreated back into the ground. But just the visual of like somebody lying dead uh on in the trenches, and then like these weird tendrils, like little thin tendrils just come up from the ground and start nipping at them, is so weird, and I like it. I like it a lot. First off, hell no. Yes. Yes, hell yes. Hell yes, that's exactly why we want this. Right? New type of healing bug? Nah, this shit picks you apart. This is not a healing bug. But yeah, the ideas that I have. Why am I clapping? The ideas that I have. Uh, the ideas that I have for what this thing could be could either be a bug, or a leech, or some sort of it's hold on. I want to search up this word before I use it, otherwise I'll make a fool of myself. Mollusk. A mollusk. I didn't know if mollusks encompass the same creature that I was talking about, or a type of mollusk, where is it either like a bobbit worm situation where it's like a bug or some sort of like a crustacean that is really long and is a worm that has like lots of like really long tendrils, and they're like very thin and they come out of the ground to like nibble on corpses, or it might be some sort of leech, right? And the last idea that I had, obviously, that I'm repeating myself, would be that it's actually like a mollusk, like it's a shell that's hidden underground somewhere, and then it has this long tongue that comes out to feed. Arthropod, yes, arthropod. And the idea is because the trenches are very muddy and like they flood often and they're very muddy, it would mean that these things sort of travel around in like the damper parts of the trenches. But as soon as like trenches flood, these things can go wild. So they would stay dormant and like underground most of the time. But then as soon as the dirt turns to mud or the water starts flooding, these things like wriggle their way out of the ground in mass. Like fucking waves of these things just piled on top of each other. And they like wriggle through the flooded parts to like spread through the trenches and stuff like that, which is just horrifying. It's like a mudfish. There's a type of fish in Thailand where they just stay in mud when the water dries up. They're just in the mud. I don't know if they do the bear thing and just hibernate or something, but they can just stay like that for ages until it starts raining again, and they'll just come out of nowhere and be like, "Yeah, I'm a fish," in the middle of a fucking rice field. Can they kill you? I don't know if like I feel like it would be a very like you would not want to have exposed skin around your legs because they would nip at you. Like if you stand still too long, I don't think it would be like while you're moving. I don't think they would definitely like tuck themselves back in and not like appear while you're moving. But if you were in like a muddy part of a trench and you put your hand down into the mud and just let it stay there for a little too long, these things would start worming their way up from under the mud and then start nipping away at you. which just you know, skin crawling kind of shit, which is perfect for the trenches. So I love it. And also it can do like the thing that I was thinking about with this, if it was like the clams, it could it's such perfect trypophobia type shit because if the water starts flooding and they like pile on top of each other as the water starts going down, obviously they start digging into the mud to make like little hovels for themselves. They would be like in bunches, you know? So like in the wettest parts of the trench that sort of stay muddy for even when it's not raining, there would be like just these piles of these little shells like sticking out because they, you know, they can't fit all next to each other. So it's just like they're sort of like crammed together and give you some like really wonderful trypophobia vibes. If you put a corpse next to it, it would just like they'd start going crazy over it. How to get rid of them? I don't think you could. I mean, if they start nipping at you, you just I don't know if they would, not like a leech where they like stick on you because they want to stay where they are. So they would sort of take bites more than sucking for a long time. So it would take bites and then retreat back and then take bites and retreat back. So it wouldn't be hard to like get away from them if you're alive. You would just, you know, you'd be like, ah, fuck, and get a bite and like take a circular chunk out of your hand or your leg, and then you'd just be left with like a little hole. But that's about it. Uh, but when it's corpses, obviously they start nipping away at corpses, and obviously, the other thing is you could eat these. I feel like you could eat these. Obviously, you'd have to boil the shit out of them and make sure to clean them as best as possible because they're in trenches with dead bodies and rotting corpses and stuff like that, and they eat rotting corpses as well. And they're in like the mud and stuff like that. So I no what hey okay, don't pussyfoot, don't pussyfoot. I don't know what that means. I shouldn't use it if I don't know what it means. I think that's like tiptoeing around a topic and not addressing it. But yeah, don't pussy out on me now. You know, you guys are fucking like, let me eat the dwarves. Let me eat the bugs. And now I'm telling you about leech mollusks that are in the trenches, you know, like that eat corpses. And now you're all like, ew, no, no, I don't want to eat that. Fuck off. If you're gonna eat everything else, fucking eat this too. I'm telling you, you can eat this, and now you're telling me you don't want to eat this? Now you're gonna eat this. I'm gonna fucking force feed dead corpse mollusks into your face. You know? If you're gonna eat anything in my world, you're fucking eating this first. Before you get to the dwarves. Before I allow you to eat any more dwarves, you gotta fucking eat this. The dwarves taste good. I feel like these would taste good as. mm. Well, they taste all right. I think. I think they taste all right. But yeah, when it comes to the trenches and stuff like that, to give you like more of a sense of what I want the trenches to be, I'm putting the same kind of creatures in the trenches that you would expect to see in a Thai rice field. I don't know about other countries' rice fields because obviously I have not been to other countries' rice fields, but in our rice fields, we have some random shit where, for the most part, you don't even know how the hell it got there. Like, there are fish in our rice fields, just randomly. And you know, the rice fields aren't near the ocean or anywhere, and there just happens to be fish. So I feel like it'd be funny to have like all these random creatures that you don't really know how they got there, like crabs, mollusks, like the clams and stuff like that, little bugs that like dig their way into the dirt and stuff like that. But crabs, I feel like crabs would be really fun visually. Have like little crabs like scurrying around and stuff like that, because that's what we have in our uh, in our rice fields as well. Crabs, just randomly, there's crabs. Aren't the eggs transported by birds? I don't know. I don't know if that's how they got there. If it is, then that's really fucking cool. That's really cool. But dungeon meshy moment. Dude, I speed ran reading Dungeon Meshi. When I was in Denmark, I read it like literally. I read it in like a day and a half. The reason it was a day and a half was because I started reading it in the middle of a day. Right, I didn't read it like right when I woke up. I started in the middle of a day, and then I read it for the rest of the day, and I went to sleep really late, and then as soon as I woke up, I continued reading it and finished it. So like a day and a half. Just read all of Dungeon Meshi. It was really good. I really liked it. I completely recommend it. It has such just the world itself is so good. Like you can when it's so good. I need a no. No. Have you seen the anime? No, I've not actually watched the anime. I've just read the manga. That's probably the next thing I should do is read the or watch the anime. No, no, don't worry, no spoilers. I was just going to say that like while reading it, you can really feel how in depth the author thought about the world. Like the rules and the traditions and the food and shit like that all sort of like very tie nicely together, and it feels so full, you know, it feels so full of things to learn about and know about. It's so good. Yeah. I loved it. I really did. And it gave me like really good ideas as well. How about trench silverfish? I mean, the healing bugs are sort of like silverfish. I have silverfish as a reference. If you look at silverfish, they look quite similar to what I just designed, or what the healing bugs look like. I didn't just design it. Yeah, see, it's pretty similar. The crunch of the shells could give away your position. True. But I mean, how to destroy the population of them, like pest control? I doubt you could. They're so like ingrained into that location. I don't think you can get rid of them. Because like think about it. They're in the mud, like they dig themselves really deep down into the mud. Am I late? No, not really. I mean, I've just been talking mostly and like drawing barely, as I always do in these streams. But yeah, I don't think you could get rid of them fully. Like, think about it. They're in all the nooks and crannies of a trench that's like a giant maze. Even if you try to get rid of them in all of one area, eventually next flood they're just gonna come in again from like a different zone and just flood in and fill it up again. Do they eat bones or would they be skeletons? I feel like they would eat the skeletons too. Or I want there to be like a reason why everything decomposes over time in the trenches. Like everything gets removed because yeah, scavenger birds would also be fun. But like over time, pretty much bodies just sort of fade away into the trenches. You know, so like not even bones are left. So I want there to be like a reason why everything gets picked apart. Either it might be through the little leeches, they might eat bone as well, or maybe another creature comes along and takes the bones after the leeches are done with the meat, or something like that. You know, just so there's like so over time like bodies just disappear or they just turn into these piles of ambiguous clumps. But yeah, I can see a reason why these would want to get some bone, like for the shell part, like to harden their shell, they might want some calcium for that. But I don't know if they would have like I'm thinking maybe they have a mouthpiece that is similar to I forgot what those are called, ring sharks? Or I don't know if they're a fish or whatever, but they have a mouth that's like perfectly circular, and you will see on like fish that they attach to, they will have like a perfectly circular bite mark taken out of them. Uh, so maybe they have something like that where they take like perfectly circular chunks out of things. Cookie cutter shark, yes, thank you. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. So maybe something like that going on. Basically squids, yeah. Cookie cutter, sharks. So I have this like really circular little mouth. But okay, what do you think? I think like out of all of these, this is the most interesting idea of them because just the visual of them like being piled together in a corner is a lot more interesting than just having them like completely invisible or having them like move around too much because it adds to the environment as well. It's not just a creature, it's a part of the environment basically. You know? I mean, we could basically I'm using too many I'm getting a bit too like nervous uh with the stream and like using too many adding words to like fill in empty space like like the word like or basically or shit like that. I need to stop doing that because it's really annoying, or I find it annoying at least. Um we could combine these together and have the fins of this one because I was thinking have it be like a bobbit worm, and I think a bobbit worm has like these little fins on the side, like these tiny little fins along its body, which I think is a really cool visual when they swim. They sort of like undulate in a row, and it makes like these, it's mesmerizing sort of. But it could also make them very like eerily fast, if that makes sense. So it could be a shell at the bottom and then have the tongue part have like all these fins so that when the water does come up and these guys start swimming around, they are concerningly fast. It's not kind of like they'll just meander their way over to a different location like clams normally do. Like, yeah, clams can swim, but they don't swim that fast. They use their mouth to like sort of propel themselves, closing and opening it they sort of look like a jellyfish when they move because they have that same like whoosh, whoosh kind of motion. Um, but these guys would just like fucking zip their way through the water. That's why they probably a reason for why they spread so quickly throughout the trenches is just because they're very fast swimmers as well. Yeah, so they would just like maneuver through the trenches like a sea snake kind of thing. And then just the shell trailing behind them. It'd be really creepy to like have to wade through waters that is, just has a bunch of these. What if they jump? Ugh. No, don't say they can jump. That's even worse. Oh, what if that's like an actual problem? Because like when they are in the walls and in the corners in the mud, if you don't stand still, you're fine. But as soon as the water floods, they become like agile in the water and they become like piranhas pretty much. Like they start zipping around and actually actively biting shit, which would be worse. That might be even worse actually, yeah. And it could maybe jump. So it's like it adds another layer of horror when it starts raining. Like maybe the the newly recruits that got into the trenches, they'll be like, "Oh god, it's raining. This is horrible. Let's set up camp." And then the veterans is staring at the new guy and are like, "Are you crazy? Set up camp? What the fuck? What do you mean? Do you want to become, clam food or something?" And he's like, "What do you mean clam food?" It's like, "You don't know? They come out when it starts raining." So they like have to basically get up onto high ground, like onto the sides of the trenches, or maybe like climb up on top to get out of the way of like these migrating fucking clams. Big hermit crabs that use tanks as shells? I think too big. Too big. Maybe they're spawning too extra growth. Oh yeah, perfect, perfect. Yes, exactly. So, okay, let me write this down by the way, so we don't just like waste the conversation we're having. Um, let's see. So, if flood act like piranha, and to spawn. When dry, part of there you go. It could be a real pain in the ass if some crabs like thing carried off bits of armor to live in. It would be quite annoying. I like that idea though. Have it be hermit crabs instead, and you just take random bits and pieces of armor and stuff to turn into their shell. Yeah, that might be funny. Yeah, I just love the idea of the trenches seeming so like, okay, the visual of the trenches is obviously very barren and dead, right? There's corpses and dead things everywhere, and it's muddy and miserable. But if you look closer, a whole ecosystem has sort of built itself around the war. You know, it's not just dead and then that's it. No, it's dead and then rats and crabs and these clams and healing bugs and fucking scavenger birds and shit like that. They start coming out of the woodworks. Well, I was gonna say woodworks, but there is no woodworks anymore. You know, out of nooks and crannies, and the rats, not just, you know, actual rats, the people as well that are called rats, just like start scavenging and picking apart the dead. So the trenches are more like a whale fall, if that makes sense. The trenches are more like a whale fall. A whale fall, if anybody doesn't know, I don't know if that's the actual name for it, that's just how I know to call it. A whale fall is when a whale dies because it's so fucking big. When it sinks to the bottom of the ocean, it becomes basically like its own ecosystem for a bunch of scavenger animals that pick its corpse apart just because there's so much food to pick apart, you know? So like these creatures start growing out of its bones that are basically like clams that grow out of its bones and start eating meat as well, and like little crabs and fish and shit like that. I love that sort of thing because it's so it's so interesting, you know, to see what comes out of another living thing being dead. Look up epitox. It's somehow bristleworm. It's how bristleworms reproduce when they literally grow a second head with genitals. And then that little dickworm floats off and spawns and dies. What the fuck? They spawn a little minion? What do you mean? They have a little minion? Like they're a summoning class, and they spawn a little dick minion that floats off, spawns, and then fucking dies. That's awesome. I mean, that's horrifying, but awesome. What the what? Hold on, I gotta search that up. Epitox. Epitox. The little minion spawns for them while they hide in the rock. Bro, that's... Bro, they fucking Amazon Prime ship their dick off to go mate, and then they just chill at home. That's fucking incredible. Okay, epitox is an unusual mode of reproduction. The worm undergoes a partial or entire transition into a pelagic sexual reproductive morph known as an epitox. Epitox can often be seen swarming around. Yeah, that's such a weird way of doing it. Oh yeah, there's images. Huh? What the fuck? Yeah, this would be great to use as inspiration. That's such a weird thing. Perfect for what we're doing. But yeah, here you go, here you go. This is perfect as well. Um, how I was talking about the little fins, this is sort of how I was thinking about it. Sorry, image is hidden. Like that. Just it looks both like mesmerizing. It looks mesmerizing and beautiful somehow, like elegant-ish. But I would hate for this to brush up against my leg. Like if I was in the trenches and saw that fucking speed swimming towards me, I'd be like, fuck no. You know? If I can look at it like this, yeah, sure. But yeah, ew. Like I don't want that shit near me. Like it's pretty though. It is. But that would feel so wrong. I'm itchy now. Exactly. So this is what I'm sort of thinking with like way too many of these like little fins sort of like undulating and shit. That's awesome. Yeah, something like this, but a shell and with a ring with a cookie cutter shark mouth. So let me write this down so I can get all the elements together. So epitokes, I hope I'm saying that right. Epitokes. Is that how I say epitokes? Epitokes. Okay. I'll just yeah, Koki. That's close enough. That's how you spell Koki. Shit, imagine them going in you. Yeah, don't word it like that. that sounds horrible. Imagine them going in you. Nah, I don't want to do that. But yeah, you'd hate to have a hole in your pants, or like a hole in your shoes or your boots when these things start like wriggling around. Because I feel like, because all of them become more aggressive, right? You'd hate to have like a little hole in your boot and then like 10 or 20 of them try to like pile their way into your boot and start like biting at your ankle. Imagine it in your ear. Oh, no. No. Just a soldier falling asleep and then it starts raining and it floods a little too much and he like, wakes up with these things just like in his ears and shit. This is perfect. This is perfect. Okay, epitophs, the clams, and bobbit worms. They whisper little secrets into your ear. No, I mean, you just wake up to the sound of like really close into your ear. You just hear, like just the fucking cartoon ass bite sound. Like, oh, what the fuck? No! God, they took a bite out of my fucking ear. Goddamn Mike Tyson shit. Fucking, who the fuck? Mike Tyson, is that you? What exactly are these things? Just got here. Oh, they're just some. It's just some Tyson worm. It's just some sort of creature that I want to fill. I want to start filling the trenches with stuff, and these are like the sort of leeches, scavengers kind of pest that is within the trenches. They're clams that have like these really long tongues, and they dig themselves into muddy nooks and crannies of the trenches. And if somebody dies next to them, they sort of like come out and like take circular bites out of it slowly, like picking it apart. But when the trenches flood, these things like come out and become like really aggressive and basically turn into like piranhas. How big are these things? I was thinking they wouldn't be that big. I feel like the terrifyingness of them is more that there's too many of them. It's not that they're too big, it's just that there's too many. So if you picture yourself like this is you, right? This is you dying in a trench, just being like, "Oh, I'm dying." Then these things would be sort of like tiny little. How big would they be? I'm thinking like pinky sized circumference, you know. I obviously our pinkies are not the same, but you know, you get the idea. Like not that big. You could easily like just if you got a hold of one with both of your hands, you could just tear them apart. Like it's not hard to kill them, I don't think, but it's just bad cuz there's too many of them. Yeah, so like the circumference of your pinky, and they also don't take big bites either because they're very small. So they like take pinky-sized little whole bites, but because there's so many of them, that adds up, you know. And in the end, you don't have a leg left anymore. 2 feet? Yeah, I'd say 2 feet. I'd say they're pretty long though. Like basically like a bobbit worm. Bobbit worms aren't that big, but they're really fucking long. You know. So definitely like a really long worm, but just very thin. Yeah. And I don't think they fit into their shell either. There's basically like the gooey the what? Gooey duck or whatever it's called. It's you know that fun gooey duck thing that all the YouTubers made videos about eating because it looks funny and it looks like a, you know, so they made videos, haha, gooey duck, so big and girthy, and we're just gonna eat it and be disgusted by it. Yeah, that thing. I mean, that thing's like way bigger than its shell, so it makes sense. Those things exist. So things being bigger than a shell does make sense, or we can have it. IRL vultures eat bones? They do? Vultures eat bones? Hold on. Let me search this up. Vultures eat bones? They are the only bird in the world that eat primarily bones. What? They don't just eat bones, it's primarily bones, which they scavenge from the carcasses of sheep, cattle, deer, and ibex. Yeah. Can vultures digest bones? Large chunks of bones are usually dissolved within what? 24 hours? What the fuck? Dude. Bearded vultures have stomach acids with a pH less than 1. This is incredibly acidic, which allows for the quick breakdown of the bones, skin, teeth, and hooves. Large chunks of bone are usually digested within 24 hours. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, vultures eat everything. Yeah, I knew they eat like carcass shit like that. I didn't know they, you know, they consumed like bones and were able to like digest it that quickly. Stomach acids, no acids. I'm having a trouble talking. Um, but yeah, that's really good. Have some sort of bone vulture. Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, bone vulture would be awesome. Also, rats. When it comes to the rats in the trenches, I do want them to look a little different from normal rats, just to have a little fun with them. They're gonna be big, like a bit bigger, because they have a lot to, you know, eat. But just like I want them to look a little more crazed, like their eyes are like bulging out. You know, like that meme of the guy holding the rat, or I don't know if it was a hamster or a rat, but its eyes are like fucking bug eyes just coming out of its head. I want that sort of thing going on with the rats. So like these fat little things with like beady red eyes, you know. Maybe they got like they might have that. What if it's like a disease in the rats and they have or like a parasite that they have in the rats that give it that same thing that that snails get. You know, the snails where they get infected by the parasite that makes their eyes sort of bulge out and like pulsate. You know, what if it's that same thing, but with rats instead, where their eyes sort of elongate and pulsate, which might be nice and horrifying. It could be because same as those actual parasites that infect snails or slugs, it's because it's to attract birds. So the birds eat the rats, and then they, the parasites can multiply in the bird's intestines, and the bird shits them out, and the rats eat the shit. What kind of world climate are we in? It's a bit of a mess when it comes to the climate, because I just like having fun with creatures and stuff like that. So I don't really think about like what exactly the climate allows me to add or not. Like we have clams, crabs, rats, vultures all in the same area, which is a complete mess, but it's just fun, you know? Obviously, if you look deeper into it, I can assure you you'll find out, wait, hold on, vultures can't survive in this climate because, or, oh, rats can't be here because the clams are here, which means the humidity, blah, 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 whatever. But that's not fun. So we're just gonna not think about it. Make a habit of saving one bullet so they can off themselves if they're dying, so they don't have to experience being eaten alive. True, true. Have a disease where they grow horns like tumors, so you can basically anything with diseases. True. Okay. Yeah, so we can have like some crazy ass fucking rats running around. I don't want every rat to be like crazy, but if you see like a weird ass rat, that'd be cool. It's like weird. Okay. Worm eye rat. Let's call it that. Worm eye rat. So bone vultures, worm eye rats, healing bugs. By the way, what do you think? Healing bugs. What do you think the average soldier would call a healing bug? Because I feel like healing bugs is a little too much of a mouthful. You know, they'd probably come up with some like shorter version of it or some other name to call them by, maybe just healers. But then it would be confusing. Little healers? Nurses? I don't know. Medic? Little medic? Stitchers? Medmags? Medbugs. Yeah, medbugs, actually. Medbugs. Stitchers. Pills. Oh, pills is good. I like pills. Bob. Nurse. Yeah, we're not talking about the worms, by the way. It's these bugs. So they're not really worms. I feel like calling them nurses could work as well. Menders. Yeah, obviously we don't have to decide on one name because it can be called by many names. It's just fun to have like a bunch of them. Scabbers. That's good. Scabbers is good. Pills is, yeah, I like pills. Pills is like my favorite ones out of the bunch because it's like a fun little, oh, pills. Because yeah, pill bugs, which they kind of look like, they got like the bunch of ridges, so I can see like them being called, being mistaken for pill bugs maybe, but also just the idea of pills heal people, so pills. But yeah, that's good, I think. Healing bugs. Then we got the what do we call the clams? I'll just call them clams for now. But yeah, what do we call the clams? Well, the clams are like leeches. They're scavengers. They pick apart corpses and stuff. Corpse worm. Tendons. Death Eaters is a little much. Isn't that the Harry Potter thing? Biters. Mud devils, nibblers, or nibbles. Oh, nibbles. Oh no, guys, I'm getting nibbled. I'm getting devoured by fucking nibblers. Mud demon, mud devil. Mud devils. Fiber optic cable. Corpse clams, corpse clams. Also, I guess while there's like a bunch of you in here, it's perfect to like get some names for like a lot of other things. So after this, let's do some like other name things as well, because there's a lot of other things that I still need names for that I don't have yet. Which might be good to get some names for. I'm repeating myself. Band-aids, flesh shell, slithers, trench tongues. Oh, tongues. Trench tongues. Tongus. Mudworm. Yeah, mudworm seems very self-explanatory. It's also very easy to remember, I think. Mudworm just makes sense. James Corden. don't call him Mudworm, James Corden. Trench kisser. Smoochers. Smoochers. No, we can't do smoochers. Liquors. Okay, that's good, I think. I definitely like Mudworm. It's very simple, self-explanatory. Nibbles or nibblers is also fun. Biters makes sense as well. And liquors is just or trench tongue is just fucking nasty. That's the kind of name you hear and then you don't want to eat them anymore. You might have been on the fence before, but then you hear somebody call them, oh, those fucking trench tongues, and you're like, okay, yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna fucking eat that. Trench tongues? Are you serious? You want some trench tongue soup? Could you call it anything else? Like any of the other names. Not trench tongue. Oh no, I only have one cookie left. How terrible. Bootlace. Is cool. I like that. Just because it's like, it feels to me like something a soldier would come up with. Bootlace. Fucking bootlaces. Trench tussy. No. No, we're not doing trench tussy. Okay, here's some other names that I need, which are completely off topic, but they're still names that I need. So it might be useful to ask in stream. Rom's capital. Let's go one by one, because I want both Rom and Verses, but let's do Rom's first. It's a city, let me give you a bit of a description. So it's a city that is very much focused on mining and production. So mining, production, stuff like that. And obviously the area and stuff like that would be a giant ass fucking quarry. So the city basically descends down into a quarry. So giant pit. Donbass is interesting, though I feel like that's the name of an actual location. Beldam. Beldam is good. I like Beldam. Kremen. Katamar. There was some of them was called Katamar. Something, I missed it. Or Centimar. The depths, a little on the nose. I don't know if the people of Ram would like if their capital was called like the depths or shithole, you know? If I was a Ram citizen, I'd prefer for my capital to have a bit of a nicer name, even though it is a shithole. I wouldn't want it to be, you know, on the sleeve shithole. Schwarzloch. Schwarzloch is interesting, but that obviously gives a very strong idea that it is a very German culture. You know, I sort of want to avoid having names. I used to do this quite often where I would just be like, oh, what is this town name? Let me just use a word that's German, which is an easy way to get a cool sounding name, but also it immediately makes you think that that location is very German, which Rom really isn't. So calling it Schwarzloch it's a nice name, but German. Karma for some reason. I mean, karma is just a word, but I don't know. Got a ring to it. I like karma. Cesspit? No, cesspit is also not good. It sounds nasty. Dunraum. Dunraum is actually cool. I like that. Horn. Horn fits with Rom. Yeah, true. Horn. Snorp. Rodden. What? Cure? Okay, I'm not gonna pick that name just because I don't think most people would figure out how the hell to read that. Cure. Duramas. Duramas is interesting. Quartz, another just word one, but also fits. Sorry, I'm writing over this circle, by the way. That might piss some people off, but I'm not stopping now. Gamora? Carco? Carco sounds to me more like a small town. Like, it's not as... It doesn't give me, like, an imposing vibe the same way a capital would, but I can totally see, like, a smaller town or, like, intermediate settlement along, like, a trade route or something be called Carco. Yeah, Koth as well. Or Koth? Koth? Yeah. Koth is nice. That's easy to remember. Ulskirk? Ulskirk? Ulskirk. It has a nice foreign ring to it, though I can't put my tongue. I can't put my tongue. What? Can't put my pause. Can't put my finger on what foreign sounding thing it sounds like. Uskirk. It sort of forces you to make it an accent, which is kind of fun. Uskirk, because you can't really say that without, you know, London. Just London. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm gonna have to research these, by the way, after this, if I do pick one of them, because I can't just be like, oh yeah, Uskirk, that's a really nice name, and just turns out it's an actual fucking city that exists, you know? Yeah. And even if the your name doesn't get picked as like a capital or something, I feel like I can definitely use some of these for smaller towns as well. Ramruff, which just reminds me of Ram Ranch for some Ramroth. 14 naked cowboys at Ramroth. 14 naked miners as at Ramroth. Miners, the digging one, by the way. The digging ones. The ones that dig into the earth, not the other one. That would not be okay. I said it was a mining town. Yormhold. Yormhold is nice too. Nah, you don't gotta pause for that. You heard me. You heard me. Don't fucking pause. Hold up. I literally explain myself. Don't even. I explain myself. Don't be like, hey, yo, and me. I completely explained it. Nobody misunderstood it. It's so over. Nah, it's not over. It's never over. Berlin. Angara. Dotun. Cole. Okay, that's enough. That's enough for Rom's names. Now, I don't have space for this. I'm gonna remove this and then make another. Let's go for Varus's capital. So Varus's capital is a country. Sorry, is very much. It's on the side of a river that connects into the ocean. So it has giant docks, you know, for lots of trade. Lots of ships go in and out of the country constantly. So it is very focused on trade. It is also a city that is built very tall as it sort of rises up the sides of the pillars or of the pillar that it surrounds. So it's a very mountainous, if I would say, like this. You know, the city sort of goes like this. Not that much, but you know, it ascends as it gets closer to the tower. Um, it also has a lot of like very deep traditions. I guess that would be another interesting part of it, besides just climbing the pillars. Miami. Miami is interesting. The reason I find Miami interesting is because it reminds me of Siam or Siam, which is you know the old name for like the capital of Thailand. I think. If my memory serves me right, I don't think I am that knowledgeable about Thailand actually. Therum, Landria, Miami. Again, fucking stop with the actual just locations. Kimber, that's just a girl's name, isn't it? Los Angeles. Las Vegas. God damn it. Niamdorn. Okay. Kenitra. Okay. Hong Kong. Why do I find that funny every time? It's so stupid. It's just fucking location names. Southwark is actually just Southwark. It's just an interest or just a very nice name. That's Worm. God damn it. Southwark. Mayhem or Mayhem. Vera or Vera. Baras. No, no. Penguin, no. Don't be mentioning fucking Baraska. Oh, I hope nobody knows in chat. Baraska. If just hearing that fucking Truck, Gray, Truck, Gina, Houdan, Houdan. That sounds like a real place, but I'll just write it down for now. I'll have to look into that. I think I'm thinking of Sudan. Gondor. Oh. Trauma. I mean, that's just a very horrible story. It's a good story, but it's God fuck it, it's sad. um Borat, Rizam, which sort of sounds like Ram. This is Isan. Trosa. Yezvel? Yezvel? What? Varun, what do you think about this name? I mean, I'll write it down. Thank you for the $2 I don't know what the R is, or what specific currency that is, but thank you. Hold on, I missed the name. Varun. Okay, Varun. Also, I feel like because Varus is a country that like loves tradition and shit like that, and is I feel like they would totally have like the classic Thai name, or like not like a Thai name, but I mean like the capital of Thailand has the name we give it, Bangkok, but then it has the full name as well, which is just long as shit. You know, so I feel like the Varus's capital would totally be like that, where it has the name that people call it, but then it has an actual name, which is just a fucking paragraph of a name, you know? Bangkok, huh? Yeah, Bangkok. Long as shit is a weird. Oh my god. Shit. Is Brazilian currency. Oh, okay. Good to know. Mollusk. Seem to be a lot more picky about the Varusan names. No, we're not doing Arkansas. Or Arkansas, or however you spell that. Yeah, Bangkok's name is mostly a lot of different titles, the same way in Game of Thrones is introduced as Mother of Dragons, Breaker of Chains. Yeah. The kings also have like really long names as well. Samserlek. Sam up. Sam Sir Lek. Cool. Bangkok. Just Bangkok. No. Samsung. Samsulek. No, Sam Sarlek. It's not Sam Sulek, goddammit. Yuresh. No. Yes. Nabroom. Or Nabrom. Nabrom James. Rima! Wait, Rima. That's some fucking Pero or Belo cartoon shit. Rima! Rhombus. Ratat. Howdy. The third pole. Gondor. No. Konkara? Though Kongka is actually a place, so gotta be careful with that one. But yeah, I think that's enough. I like, funnily enough, I like the first one most probably out of these. Mayam is just a very, it feels very right. As soon as I heard it, it's like Mayam is a very like Thai feeling name for a location, but it has that sort of like feel of like capital of trade, Mayam. You know? My Yeah, it's fucking it's close to Miami, yes. Yes, fine. But I still like it, okay? You can say Miami as much as you want. No, it's not Miami. You can say Miami as much as you want. You're not gonna change my mind. I like the word Miami. It sounds nice. Uh, uh. What? สวัสดีครับคุณรู้ว่าพูดภาษาไทยได้เดี๋ยวพูดภาษาไทยยังไงครับผมอยากรู้ Wait, what do you mean? You want to know how I speak Thai? I mean, because I'm in Thailand. I'm half Thai, so I can speak Thai. I love my yam. God damn it. Come on, don't shit on the name. Don't shit on the name my yam. My yam is great. Don't honestly tell me you don't like the name my yam. My yam is good. Change the I to a Y. Like my yam. No, that's even worse then, because then it's like my am. You know, with this, it feels like one word. If I change it to a Y, it's my am. Look at this guy. Look, likes the word my am. Don't point and make fun of me. Yeah. คนไทยผมพึ่งไทยด้วย oh nice awesome Nyam. No, we can't call it Nyam because then it's gonna be like people are gonna think there's cat girls there or something. No, I think Mayam's good. Okay, Mayam's good. Unless you want to call it Mayim or Mayim or something like extend the name to be longer, like just instead of Mayam, it's Mayim. Or is this like more M's maybe? What if we just add 3 M's on the start and I am. What about that? How do you feel about that? I am. It's good, bro. Yeah, I know it's good. Just fuck it. That's stupid. I mean, the city of trade. If you want a city of trade to sound like it'll get your fucking goods from one place to another real fast, call the city. That's perfect. Okay, no, but there you go. Thank you very much for assisting me in thinking of some names for things. I feel like that helps a lot. There's some really good names to work off of here and for Rom as well, and for all of these creatures. There's definitely going to be more streams in the future where I have to ask for more names, but that's all the names that I sort of kind of need at the time right now. There's still the name of the Rom Saint and the Rom Speaker, but I sort of have placeholders for those, but I don't like them, so I'm still going to change those around. So maybe in the future I'll ask for those, but not now. Not now. We have enough. We have had enough name business going on for now, and I think that is going to be enough for the stream as well, because we're reaching 3 hours of me just babbling, and you guys are probably sick of that. So I do hope you enjoyed it. You know, I really do hope you enjoyed the streams. Thank you very much for hopping in as always. I appreciate the help. Or I just appreciate the support, you know, and you guys being in here, that's just wonderful. I'm always happy to to see how much incredible support I get from you guys. But trust me, I'm gonna try to stream very soon from now. You know, it's not gonna be a while till I stream again. I'm gonna be streaming again very soon because I am up to streaming more now. After that last video came out about the coins, now I feel like a weight's been lifted off my shoulder. I've been stuck on that shit for way too long. Like I literally have like I wrote 7 scripts within before that last video came out. I had 7 scripts. Obviously not all of them about coins, but I was like there were 5 scripts about the war and 1 script about the witch hunters. And then the last script was well, no, then there was another script about me just ranting about me not being able to do shit. And then another one, which was the coin script. I was just stuck for a while, and now I feel like, you know, I'm up to doing shit again. So trust me, another stream's coming soon. And I will give you a heads up, same as this time, so that, you know, people have some time to hop in or prepare for the stream and not just be surprised by it. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for all of your support. Love you guys.